What's up, everyone? Lou here. Today I'm going to be going over Mythic Pantheon as Destruction. So not much has changed from Mythic to Heroic. It's a little bit of a more chaotic fight in the second half, but the damage and healing is still there. It's a little bit harder of a healing fight, so you have to use personals and healthstone to keep yourself alive. But other than that, the fight is pretty straightforward, so let's just get into it. So this is the talents that I used. Pretty much full Mythic Plus setup. Very similar. The reason why we use Inferno instead of Cataclysm is because in the last phase you're getting 4 target cleave, and it is pretty insane, especially when you pair it up with Wilfred's, which is the legendary we'll be using. You can end up getting 2 Infernals in the final phase with Bloodlust and 4 targets, so that's kind of why I'm using that setup. Using Soul Conduit also, just for more procs on shards, so we can get more Infernals, which powers our 4-piece. If you do not have 4-piece, I recommend just playing Affliction, and you can check out my Heroic version. On that, not much changes there. It's still the same talent setup and stuff, so if you are playing Affliction, check that out. But if you have 4-piece, I think Destruction is much better, especially on Mythic. So it's kind of my setup here, and we'll get into the video. So on pull, you are popping all of your cooldowns. As a Warlock, you're most likely going to be on ad duty, so you have to kill the ads when they come up. So you want to make sure that you have, full soul shards and a havoc ready to go for when that happens. So the ads come out pretty early. As you can see, as I turn, and I have 5 shards, and I'm just blasting chaos bolts into this thing. When my havoc comes up, I'll be havocing on the boss to get more shards and just extra cleave value. You can see here, and I'm just nuking this ad. So you're pretty much going to be hitting the ads every phase, which is fine because they die pretty quickly. And that's pretty much all there is to it for phase 1. You want to keep your Curse of Tongues up on the bosses that cast, so that'll be War, and in the next phase there'll be another boss that casts, so you want to keep your Curse of Tongues up because that ends up killing people if they do get cast off, so just having that curse up makes things a lot easier for your raid. So just going through here, continue just evenly pushing the bosses because they do push at 40% here. We're ignoring the second set of ads because we have enough damage to push that phase. People just get dispelled in those bubbles that have a debuff. And as soon as this boss comes out, I am trying to kick her and putting Curse of Tongues on her. So you want to have Curse of Tongues on renewal because once again she is constantly casting. As soon as my Infernal is up here, I'm just popping all my cooldowns because this phase right now is just DPSing the bosses. There's not really too many other mechanics besides people who have to use the beams to soak. But this is a pretty chill part of the phase, and you're just doing as much damage as you can. This is the hardest part of the fight, I would say, and you want to push it as fast as possible, so it's definitely important to just get out of this phase as fast as you can. So as you can see, like as time goes on, more tornadoes come, the pets come out and you have to avoid them. Eventually you get pulled in for the hand, and you gotta avoid, the tornadoes, the animals, and the lines from other people, right? So yeah, we're just going through here, ended up getting hit by one. We actually lost a couple people too. This part of the fight is really healing intensive, so it's like the perfect time to pop Unending Resolve, Dark Pact, use your health stone if you need it. You can see I drop pretty low here. I think I end up having to use my health stone at some point, but the bosses are at about 45% here. My Inferno is up, so if I didn't think that we would make it out of this phase, I would use my Infernal here. If your group is gonna make it out of this phase with people alive, then you want to hold on to your Infernal for the final phase. And the reason why you want to hold on to it is because it's going to be 4 target cleave with Bloodlust, and you're going to do an absurd amount of damage. However, if your guild does need you to push that phase faster, you can use your Infernal there. You will have it up for the final phase. It just may not be during Bloodlust, right? So like we Bloodlust as soon as everything's grouped together, and here you're just spamming Rain of Fires. So I'm just trying to immolate the bosses and just getting as many Rain of Fires out as I can before I have to turn and kill my Ritualist ad. So once your ad is out and the shield is broken on it, you just want to burst that down as fast as you can. Making sure you always have a Havoc on one of the bosses that are high health, so that way you can get good cleave value. You'll notice that one of the bosses here is actually lower health, so we're going to have to stop AoEing at some point and just kind of Chaos Bolt stuff down, because they are not all equal health. And if you don't kill them equally, then they heal and then it's a wipe. So it's very important to kill them evenly. So here I am just hitting the 2 higher health targets with Chaos Bolt and trying to get them lower, because War is pretty much dead, so AoEing it down is not going to help. You know, it's just going to wipe your group. So yeah, make sure you're always targeting the higher health targets and killing them evenly. As you can see, my Infernal was actually like a few seconds away here. So if your group DPS is a little bit lower and the bosses are higher health at this point, know you will get a second Infernal if you use it the same time that I use it, which is right at the start of the phase. So you can plan for that if your kills are a little bit longer. But other than that, I mean, the fight is pretty similar to Heroic. Not too much changes. Big change for healing. It's pretty healing intensive. But other than that, it's a pretty fun fight as Destruction. You know, for those progressing, hopefully this is helpful. Once again, if you don't have 4-piece, I would just play this as Affliction until you get that 4-piece. But hopefully this is helpful. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.